how they say, get them dollars.
Yes, yes.
Get that paper, all that. But you're doing it the right way.
Right.
Not everybody
Right.
Okay. And we trying to build the community.
What is your definition of success?
My definition is you're happy. Every morning you get up and you're like, oh, I can't wait to get in there on that computer, get my look, I'm ready and up. That was success for me.
Yeah.
Just being able to answer the phone, talk to my family, enjoy work, and get up just smiling and happy, know. Yeah.
Bold Move Besties, wherever you are tuning in from globally, thank you for joining me here on She Built Success. I am joined today with Akiesha Foster of Key to Life Professional Consulting Services. She is a coach, a consultant in all things in government contracting. We are going to talk all the juice, all the tea, spill it all so y'all know what to do when it comes to government contracting. So, Akiesha, welcome.
Thank you, Claudia. It's good to be here.
I am excited to have this conversation because y'all behind closed doors, Akiesha and I have all kinds of conversations. So we're just going to bring it up a little bit to the forefront so you can get an idea of what we talk about. Just for context, Akiesha and I met at a government contracting event, actually.
Yes.
And it was a dinner. And I remember, so when I told y'all, when I go to networking events, I'm not there to be passing out a bunch of business cards. So ain't nobody gonna remember you. But it just so happened, I'm kind of scoping out the place. It's time to go sit down for dinner.
Yes.
So I see her at the table. Well, actually, no, I take that back. I actually saw you out when we were out in the open.
Yes.
But then I was like, I just said hi, and that's kind of it. I didn't know her yet.
Right.
And so then we came in to go sit down.
Correct.
You were sitting at the table, and I was like, you mind if I sit there? You was like, oh, girl, no, come on. And I was like, ooh, I like her.
Because you had that good energy. And I seen you walking, and you looked at me, and I was like, oh, my God. Yes, come sit down.
And since then, it's been history, a good history.
Yes.
I can proudly say Akiesha is a part of the team here at Capital Consulting Group, but she also, like I said, has her own company and her firm where she's helping other small businesses get into government contracting and win contracts, right?
Yes.
So go ahead. What were you saying?
Okay, so it's a little funny to me because I started off as a contracting person. So remember, 22 years of doing government contracting, supply, and all that. And then I was like, well, let me try it on the other side. I want to see what it feels like to be a contractor coming in on the other space because I knew I was getting ready to retire, so I wanted to make sure that I was going into my business full speed ahead. Yes. And so I had the contracting aspect, but I was, a little lost sometimes when it came to the business acumen because now you're coming in as a contractor. No longer are you just using your government credentials. Now you have to build those relationships, learn everything about your customer, the stuff that we preach to small businesses all the time. Yeah. So it was different.
Yeah. Was it a steep adjustment for you as far as just picking up the different business acumen on the other side? Or was it kind of like, okay, I've seen this before. I feel kind of comfortable. I just want to get more acclimated.
Well, it was bittersweet because, now you're not saying rank or anything like that. That's you're true. Coming in as a small business, so you didn't get the same reception. So it wasn't like they wasn't taking your calls before. Now you have to come in as a small business. Now, the entry for most small businesses is very hard. Because they have to learn it. But see, the good part about it was I knew what I was getting into. Right. It was still, you have to develop those relationships because no longer are you with DOD. Now you're going with DOE or you're going with HHS or some different agency. So now you have to learn those different agencies. And every agency is different.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so I know we said a bunch of acronyms. So DOD, Department of Defense, DOE, Department of Energy, and HHS, Health and Human Services. All are federal agencies. And yes, they all have their own ways of doing things. What have you found in working with small businesses now? What are the trends? Do you see them coming in knowledgeable, knowing what they're looking for? or are they kind of like all over the place, disorganized? Like, what does it look like on your end now that you're in the consulting and coaching capacity?
Well, on my end now, it's they're coming in all over the place because they want to sell everything now. They want to call the contracting officer right now, and they answer the phone.
Yeah.
And when they don't, they get discouraged. And I keep telling them, no, it's just like anything. You have to build that momentum. You have to learn, because government contracting is different. They have all those different regulations, laws, rules. They have to, because we have to govern the taxpayers' dollars.
Right.
So because we have to govern taxpayers' dollars, they're going to be very strict.
Right.
You know, they're very risk averse. So they're like, look, you brand new. You know, can you do this? But if you saying I sell janitorial service, I sell landscaping service, I sell IT, okay, but you're a team of one.
Right.
You see, so they're missing the key that they have to focus in. Give a unique, like me, I'm contracting. So that's why I focused on anything contract closeouts, doing subject matter expert, pre-award, post-award, different things of that nature, because I knew that was my area of expertise. And then learning what they actually buy, because they'll try to sell them something that they don't even buy.
That part.
You see?
Yep.
They don't even know their customer. And so that's why I always tell them, you start off with one agency.
Yes.
There are so many different offices, so many things you can do with that one agency.
Right.
And then go to an industry day to see if they're friendly. Are they small business friendly? Or do they only want to work with the large established businesses?
Right.
And then you sit up here, continue to try to build that relationship with them, instead of saying, no, we're going to wait till we get more established to go to this agency. So that's some of the things I've learned working with other small business. And then they don't have those systems. Because I was watching one of your episodes and we were talking about those systems.
Yes.
They haven't not one system in place, no invoicing in place, no team, no back office, nothing. They're trying to run the back office and perform as a subcontractor, and then wondering why they're having challenges.
Yeah. And I know some of the audience are small, they're a person of one, some have a few people within their company. And I think that some of what they lack is not only the systems in the back end, but the strategy to actually know which agencies to pursue. And I've talked a little bit about on the podcast, some tools and tactics, FPDS, SAM.gov, and using their NAICS code to search. What are some pieces of advice that you would give a small business, whether they're micro in the sense of 1, 2, 3 folks, or a little bit up to, let's say up to 10 people? What's some advice that you would say, hey, these are some practical tips that you can do to get started in making sure that you're put together for this specific agency that you're going after?
The first thing, the first tip is go meet your customer.
Right.
You in your mind, you think this customer is going to be ideal. You're going to think this customer is going to work with small business, but actuality, if you would have went to that industry day, you would see they were only looking for established businesses. Because I had one client kept saying, I want to work with NASA Soup. Well, you have to be over even a small business have to make 2 million?
Yep.
2 million.
Yep.
And then you have to have like 3 or 4 past performance.
Right.
Now this client had been going after, and I said, well, what made you? Because they hadn't did their homework. So that's one tip I would always tell small businesses: please do your homework to see. Go to those events and then ask for a capability brief. If they won't even let you do a capability brief, then what? That's already letting you know that they're very risk averse and they don't want to work with a small business.
Right.
So, and then I also recommend start off as a subcontractor. Being a subcontractor, going to another small business, because we have our small businesses going to an established large prime. They're not going to work with you because they have all the small businesses reaching out to them. So start with a small, generating a revenue, and they probably have the same customer too, but complement their service. You can't compete with them. Because if you're competing with them, they feel like, you're just trying to get up there, so then now you'll be my competition. So definitely having a complement their services, that would definitely be one of my tips.
Yeah. And can we talk a little bit about industry days? And can we say let's define what an industry day is and maybe what one has looked like in that you've attended.
Okay, so like for instance, the small business administration. That's where I found my first team and partner when I first got started. I went to an industry day, so they announced it on sam.gov, and so what you do is you always go in, look under pre-solicitations, so you can know what agencies are having industry day events, and then do a little research before you go. You see who's going to be attending, which agency is going to be attending, which prime contractors are going to be attending, so that way you already ready.
Yes.
So because we always tell them, don't bring it. You can bring your capability statement, but that's not the time. The time is to meet your customer to see if there's a good fit.
Yep.
You see, now you then went to the industry day event. You see, oh, this is a good fit. Now you can start getting their business cards. So soon as you get back home, you start reaching out.
Yep. And is that business cards for prime and other small businesses?
Yes. You always have business cards for the prime and the agency. But mostly the agencies want to see the capability statements.
Right.
But the prime contractors, they want to see your business card because they're going to go back to your website.
Yep.
They're going to see if you're an established business. They're going to start doing their vendor vetting. You see, to see, are you, should we take this risk on? Because basically you're taking a risk.
Right.
You come into these agencies because most times the small business, because they're not established, they don't have an IT department in, then that's how things get leaked or anything, because they don't have those security parameters. And now with this CMC coming up, my goodness, they done made it just harder for small businesses.
Yes.
So it's important to educate yourself. But the industry days is how, like I said, I got my first team and partner. We got a relationship. I was on the team. We won an opportunity in Hawaii.
Oh, that's cool.
Because I was the consultant. So cool. I had to be the consultant part because I had the acquisition background. And that was the quickest way to get started, because then you get to work with that agency and now you start building your past performance.
Exactly. And you have access to that past performance.
Yes. Yes.
Now, you talked a little bit about capability briefs. Can we say what a capability brief is? Because I know everybody doesn't, I know we know, but everybody doesn't know. They'd be like, what? What? Because we've talked about capability statements before, but a capabilities brief?
Well, the capability brief is just like a presentation, a PowerPoint presentation, giving about 5 or 6 or 7 slides, telling them, okay, who we are, what we do, we understand, and they should be customized now. Capability statements. So if you go into HHS and you using acronyms for DOD,
that's a no.
No, you can't do that. You have to know your customer. It's just like when you're dating, you wouldn't use that one. No, you know what I'm saying. So you got to make sure you're doing everything. It's just, like I always tell them, it's relationships building.
Yes.
And then, because if they know you, what they're going to do? Reach out to you.
Exactly.
They're going to have your number. They already know, oh, you know what? I'm going to reach out to Akiesha. She does consulting or coaching, and she does the coaching training. Because you got to keep, it's repetition. You got to keep going in, tell them, hey, this is what I do. Because first time you go in, they're going to say, hey. The second time, they're going to say, hey, again. Oh, I seen you before. The next time, they're going to say, oh, now they know your name. So it's basically you trying to get them used to you and know that, because a lot of small business, they get start and then they give up, because it's challenging.
Yeah.
It's challenging. So they want to see, are you going to stick with this?
Are you persistent?
Yes. And are you responsible?
That part.
And many, they still trying to figure out what they want to do, still trying to get that business started.
Yeah. I think I know you and I've talked about this a little bit off cameras, but we're gonna bring it on this time. The lazy side of this.
Oh.
Let's talk about. We won't call out any businesses, but let's just we'll keep it redacted. But talk about what it looks like being lazy in government contracting as a small business owner. I know
That's a really, well, see, what it is we don't want to put the work in. We want to win the contracts, but there's a lot of work involved. You basically, when you first start a business, you're doing the business development. That means you're going out there to find your customers. Then you got to write a proposal to that customer. And then, oh, by the way, you got to perform the work.
Exactly.
Then you got to invoice for the work. It's so many different things that has to take place. But we want to win a contract. Well, then then guess what? You got to send an email to the customer to let them know that, yes, I seen that requirement.
Yes.
Oh, by the way, and we can do it, but what can you do?
Right.
Because they don't even know how to articulate it, nor would they take the time to learn that, yes, I do janitorial services.
Right.
I do landscape services. I've done XYZ. I've done ABC, and I've done it for 3 years.
Yeah.
And this is how much our costs. They don't even know the price.
Right.
And you have to do the research.
Exactly. Now, when they're looking for pricing, because I've talked about, going on FPDS, looking at kind of what the price of a contract is so you can kind of get an idea of it. Do you have any other insights into when they're looking to price other resources?
Well, I always tell them to go on the GSA Calc tool. Because that will at least, so if you're a program manager, that's what you're providing, then you want to go in there and see what the labor categories are. What's the min and what's the maximum? How many years do you have to be performing this contract to get it?
Yeah.
Is it 3 years, 5 years? Do you have to have a bachelor's, a master's?
Right.
And so if you start there, and then I also you got to know your break even. Most of them don't even know the break even.
Yeah.
And then we can't mix the G&A together with then you separate all those different, your indirect costs or your direct costs.
Right.
It's a lot. And that's why I was telling them, make sure you do your homework first. Know what your numbers are so you'll know if you're underbidding or overbidding. Because if the contracting officer look at the pricing that you proposed them, and if it's way, you'll be disqualified, because that means you don't even know how much it's priced at, or if it's way low, then they're gonna knock you out. So you got to be in that competitive range.
Right.
So know your numbers. Make sure you know what's your break-even point. Are you going to be taking a loss on this one? You see, so that's going to be very important.
Yeah. And I think when I can say for sure, I've heard, seen, and interacted with folks who try to take shortcuts, and it typically bites them in the butt.
Yes.
And to me, I feel like I keep emphasizing, like, it's a long term. Like, when you're in this, it's a long term. You have to be willing to be in there for long term. I mean, of course, there's always one offs. You can get something quick, but in the long term strategy of things, how I don't have a real stat on this. I probably should go look this up. But how do you think they're responding, they being small businesses, when it comes to the longevity of government contracting? Because I could say, like, for instance, Department of Education is very small business friendly.
Yes.
They have a lot of educational, like, webinars. They have a lot of break-offs. Their small business or OSDBU office is definitely, like, for small businesses. But what can we say, or how can we help small businesses understand that it's for the long term, and strategically they have to start positioning not only their strategy to apply for government contracts, but the types of relationships that they're building? How can we help them make better use of understanding that it's long term?
Well, the first thing I always tell them, don't put all your eggs in one basket.
Yeah.
Have a diversified portfolio. So if you're doing commercial right now, have that income coming in while you building it, because this is the long game. Because they're going to get to know you first. They're not just going to they're going to ask you to go be a subcontract. Let's see if you can perform that subcontract.
Right.
Now, because you're still learning the ins and outs too. So while you're being a subcontract, now you get to learn, okay, I got to do this kind of invoicing. Right. Okay, these are the flow down clauses, those the terms and conditions that you have to follow once you get this contract.
Right.
Or they're going to terminate it, and they don't think about that.
Right.
Or the fact that you're going to get a report card once you get done. That's the CPARS, Contract Performance Assessment Report. And they don't think, and then now the prime contracts are given report cards.
Yes. And small businesses can ask Prime, or if they have the partnership, they can ask Prime for their CPARs to count as their past performance.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that was a good ruling, because most small businesses who were subcontractor tier 1, not the tier 2. So you remember the sub of the sub,
right?
They don't get it,
right?
But that subcontractor tier 1, they still get it.
Yeah. I think my hope, honestly, is because it's frustrating to see small businesses like just continually dropping out, and some of them are good intent.
Yes,
they just don't know how to navigate and build those relationships, and don't have the patience. And so one of the things I enjoy about us just having this conversation is to be able to bring to light it is a patience game.
It is.
It is a relationships game.
Yes.
It is important to make sure that you're being repetitious and consistent. What would you say to a small business who they're trying, right? But they might not have the robustness of a team to help support them. So they're a person of maybe 1.5 or something. How would you advise them in terms of being able to, perform whatever work they're performing, but then also be out there looking for other opportunities?
Well, the way I always tell them is you got to create a schedule, a plan. So how many hours are you going to dedicate toward your business? Is it 5? Is it 10? Is it 20 hours? What can you put aside? Because you still got to put in your business development. Remember, you got to put that in there.
Right.
Marketing. How are you going to market your business? Now you got to perform the work.
Right.
Once you win the work.
Right.
And then also, like I said, we got to do the invoicing. And so if you have administrative assistant or a virtual assistant, that was the first thing I got on the team.
Yeah.
That was the first thing. So that way, the admin was still getting done when I was doing the work as a SME, a subject matter expert. You're going to be doing the work sometimes because you have to, even if you're the program manager, you still got to oversee your workers. You still got to make sure everybody's doing what they're supposed to be getting done. So I always tell them, plan it out. You have to see, do you have the time or capacity? Because once you go in there and make that schedule, you'll see how much time you got. Oh, I only got 10 hours. So now that will change the scope of the work. Well, I guess I can only do analysis reports, or I can only do just a little task-based micro purchase tasks, or like contract closeouts. And then or if your specialty is like if you're a data scientist or something like that, you got to go in there and research how many times have they bought this service. So don't waste that time. So basically is when you're an army of 1 or 1.5, you got to, you're even more strict with your time. Your weekends are going to be gone. Your nights are going to be gone, and you don't have a lunch break, and you're getting up early.
Be prepared to put in the work. What I know we have our certifications as a company. We have our WBE, our WOSB, and our minority MBE. What do you think there's an advantage just off the breaks, like in the very beginnings, to getting, I mean, there might be others, service disabled or veteran owned, but do you think there's an advantage in getting those certifications up front? So they've registered for SAM.gov, they should immediately go start looking at certifications, or do you think that, they can win contracts without it?
Well, the only reason why I say get the certifications, because that's the only leg up you got when you're brand new. And so, but the SAM, because now these prime contractors are asking, are you registered in SAM? Because that means you're serious about this thing.
That's true.
So they want to know, are you serious? Are you willing to put some time and effort in it? And normally when you go after your certifications, you how much paperwork we have to do. Exactly. They want your financials. They want to know everything.
They want to visit your office.
They doing it all. So if you don't put all that effort in to the prime and even to agencies, it's going to help, because remember those subcontracting goals that these agencies have to meet, and then prime contractors need those small businesses with those certifications, especially the ones who's graduating from AAs or the ones who don't have the WASB, the woman-owned small business certification, but they have the veteran-owned certifications. And then so say opportunity come out and you want a woman-owned, but you're a veteran, then you can reach out to that small business with those certifications. So it's about having that strategy, getting the education, and utilizing the certifications, because even on eMaryland Marketplace, on Maryland's state, because every state is different. So on Maryland state, you can go in there and get the Veteran Business Enterprise, and that's 5%.
Oh, wow.
So you don't have to do the whole contract. See, you're trying to get a percentage of the work,
like that.
Especially when you're an army of 1, you see, or 1.5, So you're going to have to, so you want to keep everything in a way that you can manage it and it's manageable. And then that's why you grow on your past performance. You've shown them and then guess what they're going to do? They're going to call you back. Hey, we got another opportunity. You didn't build that. You got in the door. And then also, we're still trying to crack the code on micro purchases.
Let's talk about that. I think, I don't think a lot of people know about it. I know when I first started, I did not. I mean, well, I knew the term. I never knew what it was for real. I just knew the term. Can we talk about micro purchases?
Yes, let's talk about it. Yes.
So micro purchases are under $10,000. Basically, the government has a credit card and they can swipe it. what would you say? I won't even say strategic. I would say tactic, because that's obviously a smaller dollar amount. What would you say tactically could be done to start winning micro purchase type contracts?
Well, the thing is with the micro purchases, because we're still trying to crack the code on who has the cards.
That part.
You got to reach out to them contracting officers, and they're not going to always be welcoming, but still reach out to them. But you got to have a little microservice. So when you're doing minor construction, that's below $2,000 right now. If it's services, that's below $2,500. Now $10,000, they can go all the way up to $25,000, but that's mostly training, and that's for specialized training. So it's knowing which category, is knowing how to price it, and then you sell them a service, and make sure you let them know that you can take the government purchase card or the P card. You know, some people call it P card, government purchase card. And then that's a but that strategy is very difficult because you got to find out who the government purchase card holder is.
And there's different in every agency.
Yes, every agency is different, but that still needs to be in your strategy. Because once you get that contracting officer, that's when you're going to ask them, hey, who is your purchase card holder? You know what I'm saying? And then finding out who is the subject matter expert at purchase card holders, finding those different services out there that's doing the micro purchases, the platforms and stuff like that. So that way you can put your service on there and possibly win the GPC.
Now, can we say where micro purchases are not? So like we talk about SAM.gov for contract opportunities.
No.
Where are we going to find them there?
We're not going to find them there because remember, it's below the threshold, $25,000. And you know, they keep changing the threshold. We don't have to put it on that platform. You can just go call a vendor and get about 3 quotes from the vendor. But you want to be one of those people they call when they go in SBA's DSBS profile. And that's how we find out who has the government purchase card from going in SBA's DSBS profile.
And DSBS is Dynamic Small Business Search.
Yes. So that's how we look for them when we're looking for. So say I want to do COR training.
That's Contracting Officer Representative.
Yes.
I'm just inserting them a little bit.
You know, and I do that. And I be trying to catch myself.
It's okay. I do it a lot too, so it's fine.
And so once you find out, and then they'll call you, and then they'll keep you on the roster. So because you done built that relationship, you got them what they needed, laptops, supplies, or whatever it is, and then they'll call you again. So you just got to be ready when they do call you. But they can't see you if you ain't put it in the small business dynamic search for them to be able to find you.
Okay. I think so. Micro purchases is one. Can we touch on simplified acquisitions? Can you explain?
I recommend we start at simplified acquisition. That's under the $250,000 threshold, and that's because that's an RFQ. That's the request for quote. And so basically, they will ask you a little bit for technical, you know, your technical approach or your management approach or your resumes, and then how much you're going to price. They're looking for the lowest price technically acceptable most of the times. And because you have the best value, that means they're not going by price by itself. They're going to go by the technical approach first. I mean, how you going to give us this service, and then the price. So, but they are looking at that price. So it's important that you understand how much is your competitor selling it for? Are they selling it for $100 an hour? And then you over here talking about $125 an hour? Well, you know they're going to go to your competitor. So you have to be in that competitive range. And then how are you going to differentiate so that way you can kind of like stand out? So the $250,000 threshold is where I recommend they start, because you can easily win like an ethics training. They got ethics training out here and you teach ethics. Well, then you better go in there and be looking for all of the things, save, search, and SAM. So that way you get those notifications. You going in there, you're tagging all the total small business, your partial small business, and whatever your certifications in, set up your save, search, because that's going to be gold there.
Yes. And I touched a little bit on that in a prior episode. And I was like, you know, for us as a company, we have my own team that goes in and extracts it, and then we upload it in our pipeline tracker. And I think that a lot of times small businesses miss these opportunities because they don't know about the fact that it can notify them.
And then once you get those searches, you have to look at them every day. every day because
they canceling stuff. They be canceling stuff. You be like, wait a minute, what happened? Or when inactive, and if you don't, or if something comes up and it's like a few day turnaround, a week turnaround, something like that.
And when they have that stuff that come up like that, you know they already know who they want. But because regulation says we have to post it.
Right.
So they're going to post it out there. But they're going to post it for the
Short.
minimum days. Because you already know who you want.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
I think, I think small businesses just need to be, I feel like right now they're just being miseducated.
They are, yes.
And told misinformation.
Yes.
And literally sold lies or bamboozled.
Yes.
And so part of just even us having this conversation is to help shed some of that light on what it really is.
Yes.
So I do appreciate your lens for acquisition, your experience as a contracting officer. But I
gotta say this last thing.
No, please go.
Look, use them SSNs, those sources sought notice, and those requests for information.
Yeah.
That anytime you just send your capability statement without it being for RFI or SSN, that's unsolicited. So guess what that means when it's unsolicited? They ain't got to look at it.
They be like, all right,
but you don't want to waste that time. And that's why I tell them, go in there, look at them sources sought notice and RFIs and market the hell out of them. I mean, every time you see one, you go market again. Market it again. Because that's the way you get in front of the customer. And they keep seeing your name coming through. Customize your templates so they'll know it's you. You know, they be, wait a minute, I've seen this one before. This looked familiar. You see? Market the right way. Too many times we just send a capability statement talking about, I sent my baby, they didn't look at that. They probably just hit delete. Do you know how many daggone emails they get at capabilities? You know how many I was getting? Look, don't even get me started. Look, I'm a hush.
I think I 100% agree with you on that. I do think, I know even for me, when I first started with the capability statement and even responding, I know before you and I had met, I was just like, okay, we'll send our little one-page cover letter, we'll send our CAPE statement and, you know, a couple of lines of responses, and we were good. And I remember I showed you one, you was like, but you forgot this, and this. I was like, oh. All right. And so, I mean, you don't know what you don't know, right? Go ahead.
But you was doing it, though. You was like, look, we about to do this.
Definitely trying. I appreciate that. What about, so what has been fulfilling for you in owning your company?
Oh, I love it. I mean, the work-life balance, you're doing what you like to do. I mean, too many times we give all our energy to others and not being able to really cultivate. I love contracting. Yeah. So I got my master's in it. I got my certifications in it. I got my, proposal writing in it because that's what my craft. Yeah. So then you go work with somebody else. They want you to go over here and do some marketing. Now, you know marketing ain't my... Come on now. Baby, you know.
Listen, that ain't my lane.
Look, I'm acquisition. Or they want you to go do something else that you have budget, baby. Look, I don't do no budget, baby. Now, you asked me to write a performance work statement. Yeah. Ask me a past performance write-up. I got you, you know, because that's what I got. Right. So when I started my business and when I first got started, you know, you'll have people inundating you, want to take, okay, can you do my capability statement? Can you do No, baby, I don't. Look, my area expertise is right here. And then you'll take it and then you'll regret it. You'll be like, dog, I shouldn't have took that. You know that ain't my area expertise. So when you decide to start your business and you know what your passion is, stay focused on there. And if you got to take other work, you know, to keep that financial income coming in, keep that, 20%? Don't put 100%. You got to put it in the business. You got to put the time in there. And I'm telling you, the business going to take care of you, especially when you're starting to reap that income. You got a nice little check coming in. You got you're getting your team built up.
That part.
You know, so I love it. And I've tried to do the go work. That's why I always have to do it a little bit at a time. Like, oh, that's enough. That's enough.
Yeah. Have you, as far as like just life at home, enjoying life, I guess what has been the most fulfilling for you there?
Well, you know, because I come from a military background, you know, been deployed like 5 times you know, always in field exercise, you know, having my business allows me to be more present, you know, being more present for my husband, my children, my grandchildren, you know, being able to have relationships, being able to do this podcast right now. You know, it's just wonderful. Yeah. You know, it gives you all that different extra Because now you're a little bit more flexible. And you can be able to go different things and do different things. So I really enjoy it. And or if we want to go to an industry day, we block off that. Hey, look, I got to go.
Right.
I got to go meet some new teaming partners.
Right. Right. Exactly. What so I ask all my guests this question.
Okay.
What is your definition of success?
My definition is you're happy every morning. You get up and you're like, oh, I can't wait to get in there on that computer, get my look, I'm ready and up. You know, you ain't nobody got to tell you nothing. You get up, you get showered, you done got your, like you done went somewhere out. I done got everything on the look. I'm ready. Hello, good morning, everyone. You know, that's to me, and I got so much joy and happiness. Or if my mom called me, I can answer the phone now. I ain't in a skiff, you know, in a secure location where I can't answer the phone anymore or something like it. That was success for me.
Yeah.
Just being able to answer the phone, talk to my family, enjoy work, and get up just smiling and happy. You know, got your music playing on the background, your essential oils. What you gonna do at the work? You ain't doing nothing.
Right.
Ain't nobody job.
Staring at a cubicle.
Hello, freezing to death. Look, cold, trying to get a heater. Can somebody bring a heater in here or something? No food, no. I can't even go in there put my crock pot on while I'm sitting up here working. Oh, look, that's what success is for me.
No, I like that, and I can appreciate that on so many levels. I think of just going back to when you and I first met, and just literally the energy between us. I was like, "Yo, she is like super, like just she's right there with me. You know, I'm high energy, she's high energy."
Yes.
And I know when we riff, we vibe, we talk, but it's always like, "Claudia, you got that? Okay."
Yes.
Like, oh, you did that already? And it's like I really and truly enjoy working with you. I really do. I think it's a great partnership. I think it's a great just collaboration, just how our energy ebbs and flows.
Like-mindedness, you know, when you get other like-minded individuals who own that grind, who, look, how they say, get them dollars.
Yes.
Get that paper, you know, all that. But you're doing it the right way.
Right.
Not everybody
Right.
Okay. And we trying to build the community, teach, educate, train, so that way we can leave something for our children, our grandchildren, everybody. So you know that's what gives me passion to really want. And then you become with your high energy. I'm like, oh my God, that's my girl. You know, you just make me laugh because I've cried a lot because being in the military is hard. You out there on the field, you out there doing all. You tired. You know, you ain't got no earrings on. You looking crazy. I'm like, oh, I'm ready to look like a female now. Come on now. So you do. And so you brought that energy, and it gave me life. You know how you give each other life, you know? So I really appreciate it.
No, absolutely. No, I think there is obviously continued great things ahead, especially for you, and just continuing to build out your coaching and consulting services and offering it. And y'all, we will have all her information below. Don't worry. We got you covered. But I definitely think that small businesses now, more than ever, need to hear the right way to do things. Because government contracting, while it can be lucrative, it definitely has its moments of what the hell am I doing and why am I doing this? You know?
And you get discouraged.
Yes. Okay, so any parting words to the listeners? And viewers, because y'all, we on YouTube. Y'all know we on YouTube.
Yes, love YouTube. YouTube University. Well, my parting is if you love it, you want to do it. You gotta put the work in. Government contracting is not easy, but it's worth it because once you lock in and you learn all the little nuances and how to put your packets together, get your content library, got your marketing on, you're ready. You see, and now you just gotta keep 1%. I always tell them just do 1% more every day.
I like that.
1%. Because so many people, they reach 10%. They got, no, 1%. That's 365 days. You see what I'm saying? 1%. 1% every day. And then you're good.
Oh, Akiesha, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, absolutely. We might have to do this again.
Yes.
Y'all, thank you so much for tuning in to She Built Success. I appreciate you. If you have not already, please go ahead and subscribe here on YouTube. We drop episodes every Wednesday. And for those of you that are on the audio side, we got you covered. Every Friday, we drop a new episode that you can listen to. I'll catch you on the next episode of She Built Success. Bye.
Bye.
What's up, Bold Move besties? Guess what I'm offering? Government contract coaching for small businesses. It is your opportunity to get the real, the relevant, and the way to do government contracting correctly with the federal, local, and state government. Inside, you will get details on how to start in government contracting all the way through winning your first contract, which is, by the way, not guaranteed, but we're trying to get you there. So if you're interested, please sign up in the link below, and I will catch you in the next cohort.